3,000 black people fought for freedom and were promised a new life. They didn't get either. This is the story of the Black Loyalists and why it was buried in Canadian history. During the American Revolution, as many as 10,000 enslaved and free black people risked their lives fighting alongside the British Army. They were promised one thing: freedom and land. According to the Book of Negroes, the official registry of Black Loyalists compiled in 1783, the British kept their word. They evacuated over 3,000 black men, women, and children from New York between April and November of 1783, boarding them onto 81 ships headed to Nova Scotia. By September 1783, around 1,500 Black Loyalists had settled in a community 6 miles west of Shelburne. According to the Library and Archives Canada records, they named it Birchtown in honor of General Samuel Birch, the British commander who had signed their freedom certificates. At that moment, Birchtown was the largest free black settlement anywhere in North America, the largest community of free black people outside of Africa itself. They had won. They had survived slavery. They had fought, and they were free. But here's where the promise collapsed. According to documented records from the Canadian Encyclopedia and Historical Analysis, the British had also promised land to approximately 30,000 white loyalists. The system was simple: first come, first served. White loyalists lined up first. Black loyalists waited. Some waited 6 years. When they finally received land grants, many got a quarter acre on the worst terrain. Rocky, barren, surrounded by swamps, no livestock, no hunting supplies, no lumber for building, no capital, nothing. In July of 1784, just 1 year after arriving, racial tensions exploded. According to historical documentation, on July 26th, a mob of white loyalists attacked Birchtown. They destroyed homes. They burned property. The preacher David George watched as they demolished his house. The rioting lasted 10 days, with incursions into Birchtown continuing for weeks. One man was charged. One. The message was clear: freedom meant nothing if you were black. For the next decade, Black Loyalists worked the rockiest terrain with virtually no resources. They became cheap labor for white settlers who exploited them. Many were forced back into indentured servitude, slavery by another name. The community that was supposed to flourish slowly crumbled. Children went hungry. Winters were brutal. The dream was dying. By 1791, Thomas Peters, a Black Loyalist sergeant, made a desperate journey to London. He carried petitions from Birchtown residents documenting everything: denied voting rights, no trial by jury, broken land promises, systematic exploitation. In London, Peters met with the Sierra Leone Company, a British organization establishing a colony for freed slaves on the west coast of Africa. The choice was devastating but simple: stay in Birchtown and suffer, or take a chance on a new world. In 1792, approximately 1,200 Black Loyalists, nearly 2/3 of Birchtown's population, boarded ships again. They sailed to Sierra Leone to establish the colony of Freetown. According to historical records, many of them chose uncertainty on a new continent over the certainty of oppression in Canada. Birchtown never recovered. The community they built with nothing, that had been the largest free black settlement in the world, was emptied. Today, most residents in Birchtown are white. The story is barely taught in Canadian schools. It's barely known in American history. These 3,000 people who fought for freedom built something from nothing, then had to choose between staying broken or leaving altogether. They've been erased. This is diaspora. This is what happens when freedom is promised, but belonging is denied. This is what happens when you win a war, but lose everything in the peace. So here's my question for you. How many of these stories exist? How many times has our community fought, sacrificed, and built only to have it stolen or dismantled? How many Birchtowns are buried in history books that never mention them? And what does it mean that 3,000 black people had to sail across an ocean to escape racism in Canada, a country that positioned itself as a refuge from American slavery? If this makes you question everything they taught you about Canadian history, about freedom, about promises, comment below and tell me what this changes about how you see North America. And if you believe the Black Loyalists deserve to be remembered as the pioneers and builders they were, like this, share this, and follow, because the stories they tried to bury are the ones we need to be telling.